Let's grow.
Let me just tell you, my whole house gets excited when that intro happens, man. Everybody's like, nah. What's up, Nicky?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Rocking and rolling, man. Taking the world by storm, man. A lot has happened since we've been doing our workshops, brother.
Yeah, man. It's a lot has been happening here. I'm just sharing this to my page here. A lot has been happening, but the consistency, the things that you should be doing, you usually remain the same, right? We got some key pillars of exactly what we do here. So
we'll see a lot can happen when you take care of the minutia ahead of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can focus on growth if you planted the seeds. If you didn't plant the seeds, you can stare at the ground all you want and nothing is going to change.
Well, man, I'll tell you what. So coming together to come up with Sekou Creme, which, by the way, guys, we are going to have some nice action steps for you here shortly. We're just putting the final touches on everything. But putting together Sekou Creme, it was man, it was like, what was that? It was like two puzzle pieces, right? Because content is so very important with our business. If you guys don't know what content is yet, or you haven't implemented it yet in your business, yes, this is exactly what you're going to need to do, right? But content, it's such a crucial piece because, I mean, moving forward, that's where we're moving, right? And then calling, man, if you're not calling, if you're not making contacts, if you're not getting on the phone, if you don't have a game plan for that, you're not going to be in business, right?
Dude, well, I think you should say at least one time the motto of contacts to contracts, baby.
You love that, don't you? Yeah,
I love
the difference between a contact and a contract is the R, the relationship, right? So that's exactly what we're doing when we're making those contacts. We're building those relationships to get more contracts. And then this is where the beauty happens, though, right? Usually you either do one or you do the other.
Right.
They're not in alignment. Chances are you're thinking like, man, you either do one or the other, right? It's like one of those things. It's like you make the decision and we put it all together and we made it synchronized. We made it harmonious with what you do with your content and what you do with your calling.
You have a great mentality when it comes down to this, man. I was like lamenting. I was like, yeah, man, I got all this stuff and I got all these ideas and I want to get it out on paper. And you were like, let's just do it. I was like, just like that. Let's go. You say it. Let's go. Let's grow.
Yeah. I mean, man, I think that's where when we just realize, like, we know, you know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. We know how to make it combine. And that's where it just comes down to, man, as long as you have the systems in place and you have something to follow, that's the beauty of it, right?
It's the beauty. Yeah. We're going to share with the world, right? So you know, everyone talks about coming from contribution. I believe that we start in a place of contribution, and at the same time, man, you got to have a ton of accountability.
Right.
So by us doing this, by us putting this out there and submitting it to the world, submitting it to the public, we're saying, you know, we want to be accountable to the things that we're doing and saying to grow business. And people,
right,
if you are obsessed with your business and you want to grow your business, you better start listening to people who are doing and showing, and not just to people who are saying and conceptualizing. You know what I mean? And so I admire Nick because you just do it, man. You do it. It's unpolished at times, and you do it.
Yeah.
And it's raw at times, and you do it. And then it looks fantastic all the time because of a point that you make. Those little incremental changes that people do, nobody else noticed.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, and that's the beauty of it too, right? Is nobody really remembers when it wasn't the best, right? Because I mean, that's how it is with content. Right. If you just continue to push it out there, we only remember the best of the best, right? We only remember that one that stood out to us, right? And I mean, same with calling. Not every call is going to be an absolute beauty, right? Not every call ends up in an appointment. But guess which ones I remember? The ones that turn to listings.
That's right.
Go to contract.
Make a mess.
Right?
make a mess. You get on the phone with these people, and instead of having a preconceived notion of how the phone call is supposed to come out, why don't you just open your mind and open your ears and listen to them? You'll be surprised at what you'll learn. You'll be surprised at what you get when you actually listen to your customer base and your client base. And they appreciate it because no one else is listening to them.
Yeah.
So I'm listening. Krem is listening. We're listening.
So speaking of listening, man, I was listening to you and Finale yesterday at the end of your 2K Wednesday, which, by the way, if you guys are not following Sekou on Facebook and you're not part of his 2K Wednesday, you got to go. You just absolutely have to.
Come on over.
Like, you have to go. I'll say this every single time. You are the only person who makes me want to become an ISA again and get on the phone and start calling for agents, right? It's insane. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. But I was listening to you guys the other day, and maybe I'm a little biased towards this one, but this is something I do truly believe in. He was saying, he's like, the amount of years you're in business means absolutely nothing when it starts to become an expert, right? I hear so many people saying, like, you have to have this many hours and do it this many years in order just to even be in the conversation, right? Of course, me being a little younger and in business, I'm going to say, like, well, that's bullshit. I put a lot more dedication, hard work, and sweat and tears into this than you have in 20 years of business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking to Finale today too, and he gave me the perfect response. He's like, anytime somebody tries to pull that card on you, he's like, I still have people who try and pull on me. You know what I say? Congratulations.
I'm sorry about that. My son is trying to make sure that he's in integrity with his water bottle. Yes, that is yours. I tell you what, they say it's 1,000 hours to mastery.
Yeah.
It's 1 minute to motivation, baby. All right. And so, yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe it might take me 1,000 hours to master this, but I'll tell you this, that the action that I take in 1 minute will determine whether or not I can ever get to mastering anything. So I know people that have been in it for years who are still in that that nanosecond before they take action. They're still studying what they should do, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, I say, you know, do what you got to do, study long, study wrong. Yeah. If you get in there and make a mess, your audience, your prospects will help you to clean up.
Man, I feel like there has to be a measurement, like the amount of actions you take determine how much of an expert you are. Yes, right? Sir. I can sit here and I can study and I can try and create the world in my head about like what can happen and what will happen. Right? That doesn't mean anything until you actually do it. Right?
Veronica Figueroa said something powerful to me. We were doing a mastermind group, and she said, "You know what, baby? I'll take will over skill any day."
You cut up a little bit. You said
powerful statement. I said, I'll take will over skill any day. And that is very powerful. Yeah. Right? I know a lot of very, very skillful people that never get started. Right. I don't know any people that have will that don't get started. So we could shape the skill of the person with will. The person with skill that doesn't take any action, it'll always be a dream. And it's unfortunate that it gets a negative connotation, but you got to turn those dreams into reality.
Yeah.
You have to.
So with that being said, what do you do besides, I mean, like motivation, that's daily, right?
Right.
Like you're already constantly staying motivated. What do you do to really make sure that you're not sitting back and just creating and thinking about doing things and actually taking that action?
I speak in the affirmative. I tell people what I'm doing, not what I'm about to do. So my accountability comes from sharing with the people that I love, right? I'll tell my daughter, hey, I'm going to do X. Right. I'm doing X is a lot more powerful than I'm going to do X. Right. Because I'm going to do X allows for time. Right. And it says, OK, well, when are you going to do X? Well, I'll get this done by Christmas. Well, I might be able to start December 24th in order to get it done by Christmas. Right. If I'm doing something now, right, you can check in on what I'm doing. Well, how did it go? What was the progress like, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a hard time not having my word match up with my actions. So if I'm telling people that I love that I'm doing things, I'm doing it. So number one engine for my success, for any action that I'm taking, is accountability.
Right.
I cannot stand when people say, "But I thought you said you was doing X." I'd rather do it wrong
Right.
than not do it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This was something my college football coach used to say: "Do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long." Right?
That's it.
All of a
There
sudden,
you go.
you start doing things the wrong way. You're gonna have to figure out what, like, there's just so much more you're gonna have to figure out. Right? You do it right, you take the action. It's gonna be a lighter load. You're gonna have problems up front. There's always problems. Right? No matter what you do, there's always problems. You know, it was something that it kind of stood out to me. Like, even like going into some of these like big events, right? We're going on like huge masterminds in these places. Seeing like behind the curtains, you know, working with people on their presentations. Everybody was tweaking their presentation the night before, like tweaking the slides. And it's like always just getting it done. No matter what, it's just about getting it done, right?
Yeah.
Like every single person. First time I met Jay, actually. Literally first time I met him in person, I believe. It was at a golf outing. It was a golf outing that was like the Double Your Business before, right? I got down there early, seeing any way I could help out. You know what I mean? So I got there like 2 hours early just to see, like, all right, let's set things up. Let's see what's going on. You know, you want to be there for it. You know what I mean? And he's down there drinking a Monster, getting his slides and tweaking it at the last second, right? And it's in no, like, you see that we all see the finished product with a lot of these,
Right.
Things, right?
Right.
So, just today, I was like, "Hey, Mike, shit, we need a thumbnail for this. Like, let's go. You know, like it's like you look at events, you look at Live with Leaders. This event that we put together. You think we slept that night putting all those last pieces together? That week, I feel like we didn't sleep, right? And it just comes down to it: is your will gonna get you through it, right? Like, a lot of people could have put on the event that we put on. I can say that. A lot of people could.
I'm with you. I disagree.
Well,
I disagree, but I
they have the capability as far as
there you go.
Like, they have all the resources and tools, which we're showing you guys how to do in the boot camp too. Yes. All the resources and tools are available, right? But it was just a general will to get this done, right?
It was a will of steel. So understand this, man, and. So I was a prospecting agent for years, and I did not believe in the scripts. I didn't really believe in myself. But I'm just doing what they say to do, right? And all of those doubts was going off in my head, and such and such and such and such. And it occurred to me that I'm doing what other people are doing, right? And so most people look at that as negative, right? Oh, you're doing just what other people are doing,
right?
But if they can do it, why can't I? Right. And then if I'm going to start setting really, 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 really big financial goals, why wouldn't I set really, really big prospecting and lead generation goals? And then I started asking myself the question, if it's not me, then who?
Yeah. If not me, then who?
If not me, then who? So if I'm going to set a record, then I'm going to set a damn record. And I wasn't even remotely as good as some of the people that were doing it before me.
Yeah.
Right. The Patrick Southerns, the Jamie Daniels, the guys that sort of showed us that this stuff could work in my market. They would, it was like a job. They just punched a ticket, you know, they punched their whatever the punch card, got to work. They did that for X amount of hours, and this return came to them. But all we look at is the return.
Yep.
I couldn't do what they do. Oh my God, you got to be a special kind of somebody to do that. Jamie was like, you ain't got to be special, man. You just got to do it. Special is you're doing it. That's the special.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was like I was reading one of John Sheplack's posts the other day, and he was saying, he's like, all these coaches, all these people saying you have to do something different all the time. You have to be completely different than everybody else. He's like, listen, my routine is going to be the same as it was last year. 3:30. I'm going to be more dedicated, more committed, and more consistent than you. That's what's special, and that's what's different, right? Like, the thing is, when people don't, like, people who say calling doesn't work, you're not doing it consistently. I can almost guarantee that, right? Or you're not following the process.
I'd almost guarantee that they've only done it once.
Yeah. Right.
Calling doesn't work. Or I had this one guy that told me no, and I never want to do this again.
Right. What was I talking to you about? The way that I go about even thinking about bringing friends or somebody I know into my business.
No.
Okay, here we go. So I got this based off. I went live with Brian Moses, right? And he was, I believe it was Brian. He was doing work with like Tony Robbins in that group, and there was something that they had to do where they had to like consistently reach out when they were basically getting turned down for the appointment, or they just weren't getting a response for getting their interview, right? And like their thing was they had to consistently reach out. They didn't know this, of course, to even be considered for the position, right?
Yes.
Like you have to show you're extra committed to even show that. So flipping around to like what I was going through, right? Tried hiring some people, got stood up at interviews, some people I cared for, some people who would like reach out, and I want to give a helping hand. So now here's my rule. If somebody reaches out to me or about this, or they bring it up, they have to reach out to me 3 more times without me responding for me to even consider them in the position.
Nice.
Now, I was talking to Trisha the other day, and she's like, well, if I reach out to someone 3 times or twice and I don't get a response, I'd assume they don't want to talk to me. I'm like, I get where you're coming from, but you're assuming that it's like me and you, right? But think about this from a real estate agent's perspective. If you reach out only once or twice to somebody and you don't respond, you're just going to stop, right? Like,
and here I come.
It's a mentality, right? Like, me, Sekou, during Live with Leaders, I would call, I would Facebook message, I would video text, I would FaceTime.
You got to be recorded. You got to do this. You got to do that. Where's your thing? Where's your notes?
Like, I'm not shy for you to tell me to F off, right? I'm not afraid of that. I was calling for a while. I know how that. I know. It's just words. It's like, okay, you're done. That's perfectly fine. I'll find somebody else who wants to do it.
I got a rule with contacts, right?
Yeah.
If they become a lead, they better either list with me, list with someone else, or know my DNA. They better know my social security number before I stop calling. Say, listen to me. Listen, I know your father's name. I know your mom's name. Please stop calling.
Right.
Yeah. What you're describing to me is a technique that I learned called top grading. And it's the idea that you have confidence in your ability to work. Not that I have the confidence in you, that you have the confidence to kick ass in this role.
Yep.
And we at the DeVoe Group, we used to go through a 5-step process for you to be on the team. And one of the processes is that you had to get in contact with me. Right? Nick, is it easy to get in contact with me?
Man.
And so if you got deterred from not getting in contact, well, I haven't heard back from him yet, and this and that. You got deterred from that, it's probably a good idea that you're not on the team.
Right. Well, and I think this is something that and part of the training that we put together, and guys, we have a 6-part training process with content and calling, and it's really the combination of both, right? Because a lot of times, like we said, you could either do one or you do the other. We're going to show you how to synchronize them both, systematize, and really make money off of it. But there was something that you were talking about on there too. It comes down to certainty, right?
Yes, sir.
I remember when I took my sales job as being an ISA, I won't get into too many details, but I was at a crossroads and I had to make a decision, right? Was I going to go work at the warehouse? And it was like a big life decision outside of this too. Like, it's like a sales job. It's like, that's either this or that, right? And I'm like, you know what? I know exactly what I want to do. Like, this is the job I'm going to do, right? A lot of stuff changed after that. But again, we won't get into that.
Well, you get into that certainty, right?
Yeah. I got into the certainty where I was able to just be like, no, this is exactly what I want to do. It wasn't a high paying position at the time, right? There was no, what's it called?
Security, guarantees.
No security, no guarantees, no benefits, nothing.
Yes,
the other place had all of that. All of that and then some, and then throw some sprinkles on top just for fun, right? This had absolutely nothing, no guarantee, but I'm just like, I'm absolutely certain that this is this is me. This is what I'm going to do, right? And to me, there was nothing that would have stopped me. If they stopped calling, I would have showed up at their doorstep.
What's up?
How you feeling? What's up, guys? Yeah. Hey, maybe your phone's off. Maybe we don't have good connection, right? Like,
you want them when they're making the movie about your life. You want them to show you at that point in your life, like the other people around you is like, I don't even know his full name. He just keeps showing up.
It's
He's one of
funny
the
you
best
say
salespeople
that,
on the
man.
floor.
The first day, I was like the first person there besides somebody else, and they didn't even know I was showing up. They were so scared to open the door. They're like, "Who the hell is this
Who
guy?"
the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I come to the realization that the things that we think are abnormal in salespeople are the very things that make them absolutely rock stars. I do not want normal. I want abnormal.
Yes.
I want the guy that just refuses to stop asking questions. He just will not stop asking questions. And you know my whole theory about being a know nothing agent. I want you to be on top of your question game. I want you to ask better questions to get better business and bigger questions to get bigger business. The key to that is to naturally be an inquisitive agent, to be a curious person. And it's actually a rare trait in people.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody is curious, but what winds up happening is that society, like your choice between the factory and the sales job, society goes for the secure, society goes for the safe.
Right.
And so you asked me a little while ago, what do I do to get going?
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, my accountability is in the vanguard, but I'm going to tell you right now, the thing that the gasoline for the accountability engine is I want shit. I just want shit. I want bigger things and better things. And I want to be able to give more. I want to be in the abundance seat. I want to be able to lend. So my whole cycle of success depends on how much I can give away without causing any pain.
Yeah.
Without causing any pain in my family, without causing any pain in my household. I want to be able to enjoy everything and give away whatever. I want to give away $1 million a year, let's just say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So because of that, everything else has to be taken care of, but I focus on what I want to give away. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's spiritual. I don't know if it's spooky. Every time I give away $1,000, I mean $100, I get $1,000 in return.
Man. So with that being said, this just reminded me of and Gil Ramos. I'm going to let you know about this. Is the time about 22 minutes in, 22 minutes 45 seconds. He wanted a testimonial when I was down in Orlando, but it was about 11 o'clock, and then he already bought me like 4 glasses of wine. I'm like, we're not going to get a video testimonial out of me right now, but here will be your testimonial. All right, here it is. So 2.5 years ago, I talk about this mastermind all the time, but Gil gave this presentation, which completely changed my outlook. And this was something that I've almost had my entire life. Like it was a mindset, right? Where I'd almost feed other people before I would feed myself. And you think that's a good thing. But he's like, in reality, you're being selfish. And let me get to that, right? So he's like, in reality, you're being selfish because you're not allowing yourself to reach your highest and best potential. If you don't reach your highest and best potential, how many other people are you potentially letting down? If I reach my potential, I can touch 1,000 lives instead of just those 2, and I can still touch those 2, right? And then think about how many lives that those people can then go touch and help. By me not reaching my ultimate potential, I am selfish. And that it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind at that moment. Because prior to that, I would think like, man, it's selfish to want something for yourself first. But if I don't have it, I can't give it to you, right? If I don't put myself in a position to have enough money, let's just say monetary, to be able to help somebody out when they need it, that's selfish of me. If I don't put myself in a position to connect you with somebody, that's selfish of me. That's selfish. Very selfish. And it's just a complete change in mindset from what we've kind of been told, right?
It's indoctrination, not told. We've been indoctrinated, beat into our damn heads that you have to do this and you have to do that. Instead, why don't you open your eyes and turn into an entrepreneur? And how many people? Just think about it like this:
right?
You got a bakery. You have a talent to make these beautiful, wonderful muffins.
Are you hungry? You're always bringing up this bakery, man.
I always bring up the bakery muffins, but it's the best example.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because what winds up happening is that if you didn't share that with the world, if you didn't go for your bakery, no one would taste your muffins. It would just be it would be actually selfish of you not to share those muffins with the world, right?
Yeah.
And so what's bugged out, man, is that I do this when we're coaching one-on-one. I
Yeah.
do this exercise where we go through. It's about a 6 or 7. Anyway, it's a longer
Yeah.
exercise.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through these steps, but one of the steps that we go through is that you are absolutely successful.
Okay.
Absolutely successful. All the money that you ever could want, need, whatever. How do you treat your friends and family?
Mm.
And so when it breaks down is that we have been indoctrinated to
Right.
believe that rich is wrong. That guy with the
Yeah.
mustache, ties you up and puts you on the damn train tracks, and
Right.
right. We've been taught that Mr. Roper was bad for being the damn landlord for Three's Company. Like
Going out and doing something your own way is wrong. Yeah.
yeah, right. And in reality, if you do that,
Yeah.
if you blaze your trail, how would you treat your friends and family?
Mm.
What would their life look like
Mm.
if you were ultimately in the position to give whatever you wanted to give?
Right.
What would your relationship look like? How would they go about the world?
Right.
For me, it's a mind-altering experience, man.
Yeah.
It's the verbal psychedelics that come with coaching.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, and that's a different answer for everybody too, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's also important to know too. I know earlier you were talking about just different people and personalities. I think one of the most fulfilling things is I remember when I was at the call center and it was I was working downtown, and from the time this kid, I'm gonna say kid, he was only 2 years younger than me, but whatever. This kid came in there, right?
You get to call it, man.
Not yeah, right. He's younger than me. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna own this. Yeah. So there's a kid that came in there, right? No, but not the most confident cat in the world, right? Wasn't even like didn't go out much, didn't just communicate really. And what happened was he was a little different as we all are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But until you accept that difference and you're okay with it, man, your whole world changes. All of a sudden, when he's leaving there, we even had some of his friends come like, man, I don't know what you guys did, but he's going out more. He's going up to people. He's talking. He's communicating, and it's just embracing that. That's what really makes everybody a great salesman. That's an amazing thing. Is I see people who are like very talkative, and you think, oh, that's a great salesperson. I also see people who are not that talkative, but are like really analytical. It's like the whole DISC personality test, right? Like, and it's just playing to your strong suits. I think I see too many times people try to be what they envision a good salesman is instead of doing it their own way, right?
In the positive or the negative.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's curious to me sometimes that people think that people are born to be something and born to be this and born to be that. It may have a factor,
right?
There may be a factor that's there. But if that is the case, and that has to be 1 in a million, then how do you account for the other people that are doing it and doing it well, right? So you get somebody, people think, oh, okay, well, Sekou, he talks a lot. He's always doing this. He's always on top. A lot of energy. You know why I do it? So I can sit still and read a book, drink a glass of scotch, smoke a cigar. Like I really just want to kind of just be chill. I want to know everything else is taken care of so that I can sit and chill and not have to do anything. I hate honey-do lists.
Right.
I hate honey-do lists.
Right.
So I make enough money so that I can hire do lists.
Okay? Right. Right. Man, no, that's very true. And I think it was Shannon Sharp. I was listening to him a little bit, right? I always like tuning into like the different sportscasts because how do you think we come up with these overlays, right? How do you think we come up with a lot of these things? Seriously, overlays.
Yet again.
Hey man, like you think those are secrets? Wait till you go to Sekou Pyle, and then you're gonna really figure out some secrets, right? No, but I was watching him, and obviously that guy has experience with money and people getting money fast. Right, being in the NFL, being a pro athlete, people get money fast, and like your whole life changes overnight.
Right,
you know, like he was saying, he always says, "I grew up in the boondocks of Alabama, I believe it was, right, middle of nowhere on the farm, and all of a sudden he got like millions of dollars, right?" But he said something that I do believe to be wholeheartedly true, and the more he said it, the more it really rang true. Is money doesn't change you; it just emphasizes who you already were.
Amps you up.
Like if you're an asshole, you're going to be a bigger asshole with more money. If you're a good person, you're going to be a better person with more money, right? And that's where, like you were saying about the whole negative connotation of the rich man and like doing all these different things, like the negative connotations that come with it. And when you hear salesman, you think a used car salesman as the first thing you think of, right? And that's what we're indoctrinated into.
Yeah, it becomes so negative.
Right.
The funny thing is that I bought all of my cars from a used car salesman. Even my new cars I bought from a used car salesman.
No shit, yeah.
What's up, Manny? I see you out there, brother, if you're paying attention. I tell you what, I go where there's service. And if we're paying attention, if we are being really, really great salespeople, we're servicing the people that we're working with. And I'm always going to go towards service in a world where it's really easy to complain about shit. Yeah. I don't spend a lot of times complaining about shit because I don't give them my energy. Yeah. I would rather gravitate towards folks who I don't have to complain about.
Yep.
And who gives me great service.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, man. I think one of my favorite quotes as of recently, I know I'm throwing out a lot of quotes, but this one is one of my favorites, especially with everything that's happening. It's not a distraction if you don't pay attention to it.
I love that.
You know, like it could be the biggest thing screaming into me. Like somebody could be screaming into my ear right now, but if I'm just not paying attention to them, it's not a distraction.
It's not a distraction.
Not a distraction.
When I was on the sales floor at one of the agencies that I was working at. Oh my God, they're gonna kill me for this. Man. They're gonna kill me because they're gonna find out that this was conscious. Right? So I have a jukdo, a sword, a bamboo sword.
Okay.
Right, for doing kendo and kundo and things like that. It's for practice, right? A practice sword.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
And I kept it near my desk like a lightsaber. And when I got my wireless headphone, the first time I got a wireless headphone, and I would walk up and down the aisle swinging the sword. And everybody else would be like, oh, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Right. And they would complain and they'd be like, he's distracting and this and that. Meanwhile, I was putting 14 and 15 deals a month on the board.
Right.
They were like, I can't work around him. I need an office and I need to do that. And I'd be like, and I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
If he distract you, then that's on you. That's not on me.
Right.
It's not my job to be quiet so that you can win, and I don't.
Yeah.
Right. And so I didn't do that for long. I love the people. But
right.
If you let somebody's voice annoy you, or the fact that somebody is super helpful or not helpful at all, or got an attitude, if you let that pull you off your game, you're literally letting them reach right in your pocket and take money out.
Yep.
They're reaching into your brain and switching your switch from success to sucks. And I don't do that.
Man,
I don't allow it.
And something that's been a big pet peeve of mine, especially recently, it even comes down to what memes do you share? I know that sounds so minuscule, but what are you passing as a filter in your brain to say that's shareable, right? Like some of the things that I see, it's like I want to scroll as fast as I can away from that, let alone take time to share that and think that's meaningful to put on my timeline, right? Regardless of what other people think, what is going through my mind as a filter to say, yeah, that sounds like something I want to share with the world, right? Like some of these things are just so damn negative, right? Or just like the smallest pessimistic. Like,
just interpret it wrong too.
Yeah,
like there's no room for it. I'm listening to you.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's where, like, one of the ones I see, it's like, or like when you're working hard, there's nobody clapping, but when you succeed, everybody's clapping. It's like, well, you're in the wrong fucking circle then, right? Go get a new tribe. That's your own fault for putting up with that, right? Like, since the very beginning, I've had support from the people that we have had here. I don't know what you're used to, but don't feed that mentality. So, because then I'll start sitting there thinking again, and this is what anybody would do. Man, was that how it was? Then you start overthinking it, and all of a sudden your thoughts become reality, right? Then it's like when you start looking for a car, you're going to see that car everywhere, right? If I start looking for somebody not clapping and giving me a high five and pat on the back, and be like, "Are you?"
Well, you said something the other day too.
Yeah.
What if you were supporting them while they were working hard?
Yeah.
What does that mean about you?
Right.
Me?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's, man, and especially, and here's something too. I'll just say this for anybody who's in real estate, stop posting memes about your buyers. I don't care if they took you on 50 different showings. Don't do it. All I got to say is if I was working with you at the time, even if I knew it wasn't me, I'd have a little thing in my head like, what is he saying behind my back? Right? That, and on top of that too, who would want to work with somebody who complains about someone who's going to pay them? Right? I do not understand any realtor posting anything like any meme about how bad it is to work with the buyer. Like it's your job to help them find their dream home. Yeah, some people might be difficult, but I'm not going to want to work with you. And I'd assume that at the end of the day, I'm like, man, is my agent going on social media and bad mouthing me? Right? Like I would hate that. I would hate that.
Say it into your cup and see if it feeds you. I tell you that right now. Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
One more thing that I want you to kind of expand on. Okay. So instead of the meme, right? Yeah. I've been seeing the power of the video.
Right.
And in my mind, the video does a few things, but I want to kind of let you ruminate about that for a little while. Like, what's the power of the video?
Well, the power of the video is it gives you the authority and then it makes you the expert, right? And again, I think this is something we were discussing about too, is like the blogs, like sharing blogs and sharing articles. You know, I see that all the time and that's great. But if I want to read an article, I can Google it, right? I have all that information at my fingertips. And chances are, if you guys are anything like me, I like Spark Notes. I like Cliff Notes. I lived off of that growing up, right? I want it broken down in a way that I can understand it. So these articles,
bite-sized.
Yeah, these articles are great. But imagine just you reading the article and then breaking it down as an expert and giving me the Cliff Notes in a video, right? Video, I think we just did a stat on this. I think it was 75% of people would rather watch a video and learn about it than they would want to read it, right? People would rather do that. Yeah. And so instead of next time you guys go to share a blog, I'm not saying you don't have to share the blog. Put it in the comments if somebody wants to read up, right? Like, hey, guys, I just read this article. I put it in the comments. Read the article. It gives you the content that you want to cover and tell me what it means, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, you're an expert. We're all experts because we can take this information and give it to you in a way that you can understand it, right? That's what makes you a real estate expert. Anybody can Google information now, guys. Anybody can go online and find a lot of information on real estate, but who has time for it and who has time to really decipher what it means?
So from a coaching perspective, right? From a lead generation, prospecting perspective, talking to people, the video gives you the opportunity. From my perspective, Nick.
Yeah.
So yes, and would Nick just said and. The video gives you the perspective of being able to add your tone, your pace, to emphasize or to de-emphasize things. You can pitch it out and make it something that's silly, or you can actually put some depth into it and make it something that's serious.
Right.
And so if you're looking at it from a practical perspective, I know you analyticals out there and your drivers are like, what the fuck is the problem? You know, what is the point?
Right.
If you then deliver this information with some authority, then it becomes gravity, and that you become professional and not just them out there in the world. You know, it's not like you're just making a steak, you're watching a video and you're going to make a steak in a pan or a portobello mushroom if you're a vegan. Right. It's the actual person doing it, talking about the smells, talking about what it smells like when they do it and what the texture is and things like that. I will watch 1,000 of those rather than reading one freaking recipe.
Yeah. And on top of that too, it humanizes people, right? And that's where, again, if you want to collaborate, like we were talking about content and calling, one thing we always recommend, you get an appointment, send them a video text.
Yes, sir. Right?
Because guess why?
We're giving away too much. I want to do this.
We're giving away too much. All right. You're right.
Go to the site.
It's half operational right now. So we're just going live right now, letting you guys know.
We're making a mess.
What's up?
We're making a mess. We're doing it as we're finding it.
Exactly. We're doing what we're telling people to do, right?
Well, let's do this. I'm going to provide some social proof really quickly. Okay. So last night we did our 2K Wednesday. Today is Thursday. Obviously, we're live. And in the 3 hours and 45 minutes that we were on, we got to 3,431 contacts.
Boom.
Before I shut the computer down, we were at 4,001 contacts.
Wow.
with all people reporting. Here's the reality. The reality is that together we're stronger. Together we're going to grow. So the reason why we put this information in a packet, the reason why we put this and made it something that you can do and tune into, the reason why we did it is because together we're strong. So we would rather share this information with you. We would rather make sure that you are armed with it, whether you choose to use it or not.
Yeah.
And to just expect you to do it and to have an attitude when it doesn't come through this way. So what's our ETA? When do we figure we'll be up and running? And I know this is an estimation. Please do not hold him to a date or time. There's a lot of stuff going on.
By the next time Sekou Creme goes live.
Okay, so by next Thursday.
Week. Yeah. Or we might do it every Thursday. We might mix it up. Who knows? You know?
Okay. Well,
yeah. Hey. But by the next time Sekou Creme comes live again, we're gonna have it up and running, right? But that's I mean, like you said, we're following the principles, right? We're going live before it's done. Why? Why not? Right?
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, like you said too, it really is. It's a collaboration of both. We looked at this from the outside perspective and we're like, I haven't seen this before.
Nope.
Truthfully, I've seen them separate, right? But this is real estate as a whole. I always see like sales courses, and then you see everything else, right? You see sales course, and you see marketing. You see calling, then you see content, right? And it's all of a sudden, it's like they're telling you to do different things. So that's why we're like, okay, no. Like you got to synchronize them, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. And that's exactly
we didn't do one upsell. We did not do one upsell the whole time we did it. All we did was content and calling. That's it, baby. What's up, Dave Finale? I see you out there, brother.
Finale, what's up, brother? We were just talking about you earlier too.
Royalty, man.
Yeah. All right, Sekou. It's always a pleasure having you on here. It looks like I'm going to be seeing you every single week, so I'm excited about that to get that up and rolling. Yes,
if you guys get a chance, tune in. Just make sure that you take a little bit with you and you take action on things. Make a mess. I would rather you come back and be like, hey, I tried that and it didn't work. Yeah. Then you just say, I don't think that'll work, because I don't want to talk to you if you don't think it'll work.
We'll leave off on that note. Sekou, always a pleasure, brother.
Brother, later.